up close, one of the NFL's most exciting receivers, former Rookie of the Year Joey Galloway, discusses how to beat the best of the best in the secondary. But first, we'll talk with All-Pro defensive back Aeneas Williams. The Cardinal cornerback tells us which receiver is the most difficult to cover. Up Close is up next.
From the ESPN studios in Los Angeles, here's Chris Myers.
They are the players out on the island, their success or failure exposed for all to see. And for as many times as they do their job, the one time they don't can cost their team the game. We're talking about life as an NFL cornerback, and we welcome one of the league's best, Aeneas Williams of the Arizona Cardinals. Nice to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
You're one of the top guys in the league, playing on a team that has not been successful in your seventh season, never been to the playoffs, never been on a winning team with the Cardinals, and yet you've been able to make All-Pro, and no one over the last 4 years has had more interceptions than yourself. But what kind of mentality does it take, Aeneas, to play that position where you win or lose almost on every play and everyone gets to see it?
Probably as the best thing I can relate it to, we were talking about that earlier, is as a Christian, whenever you make a mistake, you ask the Lord for forgiveness. Well, you have to be able to forget that last mistake and move on. Certainly, same thing on the island. When you're making a play or something happens out there, you have to be able to move on. And I think the better cornerbacks are the guys who are able to do that.
Now, how did you deal with all the losing in Arizona?
It's tough. My biggest thing is I always tell guys is that I believe the season is made during the off season. So I think you have to be convinced you're doing your very best. And once I'm convinced that I'm doing my very best, now I want to raise the productivity of the guys around me. And once I do those things that are within my control, then I can look in the mirror and say, hey, I've done something to make my team better. But certainly I think it's going to involve helping my teammates understand winning.
A 3-11 season this year, and again, never a winning season for the Cardinals, but hope may be on the way with the local product out of ASU, Jake Plummer, the rookie quarterback. He's on the other side of the ball, but something, a certain kind of excitement that you haven't seen before. Is he the kind of guy that can get this team not only into the playoffs, but at least with a winning record?
Definitely. I think when I think of Jake, I think of a guy who's relaxed. He plays like he's played the game, and he's been in Super Bowls. The surprising thing about Jake is no matter what happens out there, I don't care if he throws an interception for a touchdown in his return, but Jake has a cool demeanor. I've heard it talked about with Joe Montana, and I think those comparisons, he won't say it, but I'll compare him as far as his demeanor and being able to relax out there and have fun. We're definitely on the upside.
Speaking of comparisons, I want to get your thoughts on some of the top corners in the NFL, but I want you to talk about your technique, since you have quietly done the job on people and become one of the star corners in the league. You prefer playing receivers close up on the line. Why so?
Well, we were talking earlier, I kind of liken it to, I guess I'm a minister, so I kind of like to lay hands on people. So I get a chance to really touch. I like to touch people. I like to, feel a guy out. And also, when I'm at the line of scrimmage, that guy doesn't know what I'm going to do. He doesn't know if I'm going to jump at him. He doesn't know if I'm going to quick jam him. I can bail on him. So there's a lot of different things that I can do that's in my repertoire when I'm facing him on the line of scrimmage.
What's the greatest feeling as a corner? Is it when you intercept the pass, or is it knocking one away, or just shutting a guy out during the course of a game?
Probably the one of the best feelings is an interception, but also once you're evaluating the film, I'm always amazed at some of the things that I see myself doing on film, and I know the Lord is operating through me supernaturally. And it amazes me, as I said, when I see myself do things that following Monday from a Sunday game. It's just amazing.
What types of things do you see in tape? And there's a lot of tape study involved, and that you just don't line up and cover the guy.
It's definitely, I think you have to pinpoint. Probably Gil Burry taught me a lot about how to study film, and he's come in physically and shown me how to watch film. A lot of people watch film, but they don't know what they're looking for. So usually when I'm studying film, I'm looking for formations, what a team likes to do in a certain situation. If they're on the negative side of the field, what do they like? What are their best routes? usually when I'm assigned, I'm always assigned to a receiver, so I'm generally studying him.
And you play the man-to-man coverage probably 70% of the time. Let's quickly go through the top corners in the NFL. All right, let's put you aside for a second. Who would you say, aside from Aeneas Williams, is the best?
Without a doubt, Deion Sanders,
Okay.
but I would put it right up there with him is Darryl Green.
Okay, let's talk about Deion first, because the knock on him is he didn't like to tackle people, but we know he can certainly cover and run with the ball.
Right, I think that's a misnomer. I think a lot of times they say cornerbacks don't like to tackle, but we have to make the tackles because we're the last line of defense. So I think he's a good tackler. When he needs to make a tackle, he makes it.
And Darryl Green of the Redskins, you'd put right up there. He must be like, what, 105 years old?
Exactly. He's a dinosaur. I had a chance to share and fellowship with him before the game this past Sunday. And man, this guy enjoys the game. I mean, he enjoys the game. And I have no better joy than to see a guy enjoy what he does.
Who's the most underrated corner in the league?
Underrated? Underrated probably would be Felipe Sparks, either Jason Sehorn.
Well, the Giants.
The Giants. Those guys have put together a great season, and they are consummate pros. They show up every week and get the job done.
We'll continue with Aeneas Williams. 6 times in his career, he has returned interceptions, 4 touchdowns. Reggie White may be the Minister of Defense, but Aeneas is the Minister of the Secondary. We'll explain that when we come back. And also rating the best receivers in the NFL, and a guy Aeneas has seen up close quite a bit.
Up Close is brought to you by ESPN To Go. Scores every 5 minutes, news and stats for your pager.
Pizza?
Hey, who delivered?
Actually, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Oh! Where's it from?
I believe I said it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Who'd you say delivered?
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza is the frozen pizza with a crust that bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza.
Fight you for it. Don't make me hurt you.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
For crying out loud, Charlie, where are you?
Not gonna make it. Let's air it out.
Send the chopper. Charlie has all the scores, news, and stats on his pager. We're gonna do it on location.
Sports Center next with Charlie Steiner. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sports Center, brought to you by ESPN To Go. We lead off with baseball. Boston beat
Scores
Cleveland
every 5
7-5.
minutes plus news, stats, and the stuff Sports Center fans love. You want paging too? Okay. Call 1-800-910-ESPN.
Get ESPN To Go!
Dilbert for Office Depot.
Dilbert, I'd like you to meet Ben, our newest Fast Track manager.
Hi.
Ben has no real experience, but he's very tall, so we know he'll go far.
I also have executive-style hair.
We think it will turn silver.
Business doesn't always make sense, but Office Depot does. With over 7,000 different office products, plus guaranteed low prices and free delivery on any order over $50. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
You protected your face all night. Why stop in the locker room? The Norelco Reflex Action Razor. Anything closer could be too close for comfort.
If you got a beard, we've got your number. The adjustable Maverick Beard and Mustache Trimmer with 6 different settings. Man, does this do a number on beards. Maverick from Norelco.
Hey, welcome back. We're with Aeneas Williams, the defensive back for the Arizona Cardinals, on his way to his 4th Pro Bowl. What happened in the '96 Pro Bowl game? You and Reggie White, Chris Carter ganged up on Larry Centers at the Pacific Ocean.
Wow, that was the experience that probably I'll never forget. It was just a situation that whenever I go somewhere, I know I'm going in representation of Jesus Christ. And that was a situation where Larry Centers converted his life over, accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. And once he did that, then Reggie said, does anyone permit this guy to be baptized? So we took him down in the ocean, and he, myself, and Chris, and we were all walking through the water, and the water was chilly. And so when we were taking him back to bring him in the water, we were saying, well, we baptize you in the name of Jesus. And as we were saying it, my teeth were chattering, so I was like, we baptize you in the name of Jesus. And I was so cold and I was freezing. So and Chris and myself and Reggie, we still laugh about that. But
You sound like a televangelist doing that. Jesus. Now, when you teach Bible study for the team, you're a minister, and you teach for the Cardinals. What kind of resistance do you meet sometimes, and where is the line line where you're either pushing yourself on someone, Aeneas, or you say, hey, I'm here if you need me.
Exactly. I think there's a situation where you push yourself, but I think the biggest thing, I've heard it said that I can't hear what you're saying, your actions are speaking so loud. The biggest thing that the Lord Jesus is asking for is someone to live a life in front of someone. So my biggest thing, I want to do everything with excellence, everything, and be an example.
I remember Deion Sanders telling me on the show when he found his faith that he said, hey, God still didn't tell me I couldn't be prime time, so he's still going to be flashy and have style. How difficult is it for you, and I've talked to Reggie White about this, to play a violent game, to be a terror on the field and still stay in line with those religious values?
No, the biggest thing to understand that we're blessed, and I think God placed each person strategically in different places. And myself, Reggie, Chris, guys like that, they all have been placed in the arena of football. And that's an arena where we play by the rules. We play the game by the rules.
Do you lose a little bit of that competitive fire, that edge, when people have questioned Chester McGlockton about that he lost a lot of that killer instinct?
Not at all. There's something burning up inside of me. It's called the Holy Spirit, and just it allows me to release my full potential and also to tap beyond my potential.
Aeneas, a biblical name, yet you were not named for that. Is it mythology?
Greek mythology,
okay,
yes.
And your daughter, here we have a picture of, how old is she? She's
Sanea is 8 months.
All right,
yes.
and your lovely wife made the trip. And Sanea, interesting name in that it is your name
spelled backwards.
Spelled backwards. So you work out, I guess you read out of names, or what?
No, what happened, my wife was playing with it on a computer while in college, thinking of different names. And so we've had this name picked out for a long time. So you have to give my wife Tracy that credit.
All right, we'll give Tracy credit for that. Before we run out of here, we're going to talk with one of the top receivers in the game, Joey Galloway, in a couple of minutes. But you're a guy who covers him for a living. That's your job. That's what you do. Michael Irvin is someone who you did a great job on when the Cardinals defeated the Cowboys earlier in the season. You held him to just 4 catches for 18 yards in a 25-22 victory over the Cowboys. Is he the top receiver in the game?
I think he rates up there as definitely one of the top, but as far as one of the most physical, you're going to fight, you're going to take a beating when you play against Michael Irvin, and you know it's going to be like that every play. If it goes into overtime, it's going to be the same way, and that's what I can appreciate about the way he plays the game.
Who else would you rate up there?
Oh, wow, I rate Chris Carter up there as well. Chris is, man, he's going to catch a BB at nighttime, I mean, as well as Jerry Rice, but those guys, you know what they're going to do, but we also have a great group of guys in Rob Moore and Frank Sanders.
Which receiver talks the most trash?
No one really. Usually, no one talks trash to me. Usually, I'm out there, I'm witnessing for the Lord sometimes. So I guess I'm doing trash talking for the Lord.
In a different sense,
Exactly.
I guess we can call it that. All right, congratulations again on a fine season for you, even though the Cardinals continue to struggle. Hopefully, they can turn things around. Thanks for coming by and come see us again, all right?
Thank you.
I know we'll see you over in the Pro Bowl. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate Aeneas Williams of the Arizona Cardinals being with us. Stay tuned. We'll continue here from Los Angeles. We'll talk to one of the top young receivers in the game, Joey Galloway of the Seattle Seahawks, and he'll measure up defensive backs. Don't go away.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and on the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. And guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, L.A.'s premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott, a Kimpton hotel.
Has she been naughty? Reward the behavior you want to continue at Kay's Joy. Kay's Jewelry, downtown Kearney.
Here's new construction in the area. This is what Interstate Structures, your independent chief distributor, does, and we do it very well.
Because sometimes it takes more than tape to fix your toys, there's Turner's Body Shop. They can handle minor damage to major accidents. Plus, they can tow from anywhere to anywhere. So, if you do have an accident, get your toy fixed right with Turner's Body Shop. 234-5117 or 234-3110. Towing as approved by all major insurance companies.
But there's a definite lack of respect for authority there that he has to deal with. And I think he could maybe use some counseling or something like that, where whether it be team functions, which, you know, he didn't want to go to or show up. And really, when you play a team sport, you can't do that. And I think that's a problem that he has to confront.
Nelly talking about Sprewell up close. Hope you'll join us Thursday. We'll talk more hoops with Eddie Jones of the Los Angeles Lakers. And then on Friday, we'll talk a little golf with the entertaining Peter Jacobson. Maybe he'll do a few of his impressions and, of course, comment on the Tiger Woods influence on the game today. When we continue, we'll meet up with Joey Galloway. Is speed everything at receiver? We'll ask him that if you stay with us.
So you want to know what's on my Discover Card statement? My dogs. Hey, Blue! That's called the Kong that bounces every which way.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
Sends him into a frenzy of dog happiness.
It pays to discover.
Everybody likes trucks. Not many companies in the world build customized products on the assembly line.
Okay. Oh, it's a Dash 13, yeah.
I would tell our competitors today to stay in your manual world. Don't think about utilizing technology, and we'll see you and where you are in about 5 years.
It takes all three of these sanders to do everything the Sandstorm does. It's 3 sanders for the price of 1. The Sandstorm, built by Black & Decker.
Ben Franklin discovered electricity in the sky, but he didn't know that it could be found on ice. He never watched hockey, and now he's dead. Watch the NHL on ESPN2 before life passes you by.
Welcome back to the show. We've heard from the man whose job it is to cover the receivers. Now we welcome one of the NFL's fastest receivers, Joey Galloway of the Seattle Seahawks, former Rookie of the Year. Nice to have you on the program. It's nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Chris.
9 touchdowns this year, including 3 in one game. So you've put up the good numbers, although recently this team we thought was going to be a playoff team. 4 straight losses. Simply put, what has happened to Seattle?
It's continual. Just bad things are happening to this football team. With the injuries, we've had chances to make plays. We haven't. We've had chances to beat teams that, we need to beat to get to the playoffs, and we haven't done that. So now we're sitting in a position to, the same place we've been for the past couple of years, which is really disappointing.
And it must be frustrating for you. As I said, you've put up some numbers, but this particular team, have they gotten the ball to you enough? Over the last 3 games, I think you've averaged like 3 catches a game, and you are supposedly the big play guy.
I of course, personally, I don't feel like I've touched the ball enough, and a lot of guys on the team probably feel that way. And I think something interesting there that you said, I am the big play guy, and I'm not the go-to guy in that offense.
Should you be? Should you be the go-to guy?
I've been told that I was the go-to guy.
By who?
By people, coaches have, it's been kind of the thing that I would be the go-to guy, and I don't think that's happened in the past couple years.
They haven't lost confidence in you in that. Do you think
I would hope not.
Do you think it's because of the speed that you're a guy downfield that they think, well, in the short possession area we go in a different direction?
I think that has happened. I think later on when games go along and maybe we fall behind, then all of a sudden, when we need the big play, I become more important. But I think that when you talk about a go-to guy, I think you think of the Tim Browns or Chris Carters, the guys that get maybe 100 balls a season.
Yeah, and every down you don't hesitate about
yeah,
thinking.
Exactly.
Have defenses played you differently?
No, I've definitely drawn the best corner on each team, has kind of followed me. But I don't think they've played me differently now. I've seen some zones. I've seen more zone coverage in the past 3 games because of the ability to get deep.
To get deep and to make the big play. You prefer man-to-man coverage over zone?
Definitely. When you have man-to-man, you have that one guy, and if you make him miss, then, you score. And I think that I did that early on with the big plays. Warren hitting me deep a couple times has kind of made teams back up a little bit.
Warren, referring to Warren Moon, we'll talk about the quarterback situation, the ageless one, but this team with the disappointment, Dennis Erickson, it is expected, will not be back as the head coach. Is that the best thing for this franchise at this point?
Well, I don't know if it's the best thing for the franchise. I think he's a very good coach. I have a lot of respect for him, and I've enjoyed playing for him. But this team needs to win, and I think that's the key thing. That's the goal here, is to win football games. And of course, when a team doesn't win, the first guy to go is the coach. And it's sad to say, but but he may go.
And even with the injuries, you feel, though, still with the remaining talent on this team, that you should still be a playoff team, or at least contending in better shape than you are.
Definitely. When you look at this team in the beginning of the season, we're as talented as anyone. Injuries have hurt us, but at the same time, we've had enough talent to get, to win games and to make plays, and we didn't do that. The guys on the field did not do that. It's hurt us, and and we'll pay for it.
All right, 6-8 the record. Let's just hypothetically look ahead at another coach coming in, and George Seifert. We had him on the program. He wants to coach again. I think would be the ideal fit here with GM coming in as well. What would you think, knowing what you know about his 49er days, how he would fit with this team?
I think that we are very talented at the skill positions. I think we have as much talent skill-wise as any team, and I think that you've seen what he's done in San Francisco, and he knows how to get the ball around and win football games. So I'd probably be lying if I said that I would not be excited to play for him, but I would, and that's nothing against Coach Erickson, but with Coach Seifert's track record, I'd be real excited to play for him.
He has a low-key personality. Does this team need a little more of a holler disciplinarian type of guy?
I don't think so, because I think we have enough leaders on the team, enough older guys. You mentioned Warren. We also have Winston Moss, Benny Blades, Cortez, who's been on the show. We have enough older guys to lead the football team. I think that we don't need a holler, go get him kind of guy, but, we have to win games, like I said, and, if a new coach does that, then so be it.
Warren Moon, of course, John Freeze was injured. He came in, fired the team up. The team was confident around him, but then during the losing streak, he's been unable to change things. Is he the quarterback of the future for this team? And when we talk about a 41-year-old quarterback of the future being next season,
I don't know. I think just last week there were rumors that that he may retire. And if he does that, then he's accomplished enough in his career to either come back or retire, whatever he wants to do, just as long as he's happy. I think, this week we'll see with John Kitna, starting this week. He may be the guy of the future, and we'll see that in the next two games.
That would almost indicate rebuilding, reshaping. Are you comfortable with that? I know you and guys like Cortez Kennedy, you want to get in the playoffs when you're on a roll here.
Definitely. Kitna's a guy that's capable, though. I don't look at it as we're taking a step back, because I think he's a guy that can come in and make plays. If you've watched the past couple games, Warren has taken a number of hits. Some big hits. And I think Kitna's a guy that can move around a little bit and make plays, kind of like a Brett Favre. So I think with him in there, maybe he doesn't take as many hits and maybe gets the ball off.
We'll continue talking with Joey Galloway, reflect on his Ohio State days and that Buckeye connection. Up next, listen to what Warren Moon had to say about Joey Galloway when we asked Warren about his receiver here on the program.
Joey is as fast a player as I've played with. He can get behind anybody. It doesn't matter how much cushion they give him. One of the most exciting players in the league, and he's just getting to that stage now where he's really understanding what it takes to be a great player and what he's got to do day in and day out to be that. And I think he's going to be one of the great receivers in this league.
Up Close is brought to you by Office Depot. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
Says here you ran over a squirrel when you were 16.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
No, I was guessing. You never put the toilet seat down.
What?
You ripped the tag off your mattress.
What?
Does your bachelor party ring a bell?
Not going anywhere for an eternity?
I'm not even gonna look at puberty.
Hey! Does this line ever move?
Moving now, isn't it?
When you're really hungry, grab the big one.
Next, you're a winner.
Honey, I'm going to Staples to pick up a few gifts. Be back soon.
Attention shoppers, looking for the perfect gift? Well, check out aisle 3 for great prices on Sharp mobile organizers. And save on Panasonic phones.
No, not you!
You! Yes! And I, or any husband, would love one of those nice global chairs.
I need the leather one! Get a leather chair!
For great gift ideas and over 7,000 items at guaranteed low prices at Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
College football's elite gather to celebrate this year's finest performers, including the Home Depot Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year. The Home Depot College Football Award Show, tonight at 8:30, only on ESPN.
Continental, the only airline in history to earn this award twice in a row. Continental Airlines, more airline for your money.
We're up close with Joey Galloway of the Seahawks, and back in January, that's him spinning the big thing there on Wheel of Fortune with Vanna White and Pat Sajak, helping to raise money for charity. End zone and twilight zone, the key words. Losing out to Bill Romanowski of the Denver Broncos. Sometimes that's how it goes. The Broncos, they get you in the game and they get you on the field. That was a fun experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And you like board games?
No, actually,
no,
not really. I don't watch that show very much, and that's why Bill beat me.
Oh, okay. So you were a marketing major, so
yeah.
Obviously spelling at Ohio State. Speaking of Ohio State, Eddie George also was part of that, right? The former Buckeye
he was
team.
there. I beat him.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
So you knocked off somebody.
He took third.
On your way to the top. 19 touchdowns at Ohio State, second most in school history behind Chris Carter, another great name in the NFL today. And you still have a Ohio State connection. A lot of you guys go back in the off season and you work out, and it's a rather intense program. How does that benefit you today in the NFL?
I think I go back for that reason, because the guys are there with Eddie George, and Chris Spielman comes back, and Robert Smith. With that kind of talent, all these guys are working out with Coach Kennedy, looking over us and kind of pushing us. It gets intense, and that makes you get better. And then once you go to your camp or you go to your team, then all of a sudden you're ready for that, because the summer program has been so hard.
You actually talk trash a little bit to kind of fire each other up?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, because it's a challenge to get up every morning and come in there and work hard. So, yeah, you talk trash if a guy's not going very hard, then you get in his ear and you let him know about it, and it makes him pick it up.
What is your greatest memory of your Ohio State days?
Beating Michigan my senior year.
Yeah.
When Coach Cooper's record hasn't been very good against Michigan, but the one win that he did get was, my senior year. So that was, one of my fondest memories.
And you have developed in the NFL a speed guy, and we are told that you have run a 40 and 4.14, 4.7, 4.1, 4.7, 4.18. That's as fast as anybody in the NFL. Do you think of yourself as the NFL's fastest guy?
I like to think that, but the problem with that is there's probably 5 other guys that may think that they're the fastest guy in the NFL. But I think that if not the fastest, I'm right in there with the top guys.
And how important is speed at your position? How much can you rely on that? There have been speedy guys who have not been very successful wide receivers.
Well, I think along with the speed, something that I've had to learn is patience. You have to set moves up. You just can't run past those guys, because those guys are fast also. So the patience to get off the ball and to maybe throw an extra move and get that guy just a false step really helps a lot.
Let's talk about some of the other guys. James Jett, who's finally having the big year because of his speed, and also Michael Bates of the Panthers, who I didn't realize former Seattle teammate of yours briefly, and a guy who won the bronze at the '92 Summer Olympics in the 200 meters. How would you rate against? Have you ever run against those just for fun?
No, I've never lined up and run a race against them. But I've like you said, Michael Bates was on our team, and I know he's extremely fast. But I think that I can probably challenge him in a 40. Like you said, he took the bronze in the 200, so in the 200 he might get me.
Can you do things to make yourself faster?
Yeah, I think I really believe in lifting weights, and I think that's had a lot to do with my speed. Like I mentioned Coach Kennedy earlier,
right.
He's really done a lot for me as far as believing in the weights. A lot of guys coming up don't believe that the weights help your speed. They think it makes you bigger, makes you sluggish kind of. But no, I think that he has developed a program to make the weights make you faster. And that's what he's done, and I followed that, and I believe in it, and I think it's helped me.
Which cornerbacks? I know Deion Sanders is one of the faster guys in the league, and we just talked with Aeneas Williams about guys at his position, but which corners give you the most trouble since you've been in the league, or who do you rate at the best?
I haven't had a chance to go against Deion. I went against Aeneas Williams one time, and he's very good. Dale Carter's another good one, because I think the thing with Dale is his arms are so long, and he kind of surprises you because he can reach you across the room and he can run. Aaron Glenn from the Jets, who's a very quick guy, is also very good.
As receivers go, who are some that you admire?
Yeah, I really like Chris Carter, and the reason I like him is he catches anything in his neighborhood. I mean, if it's close, he catches it. Each Sunday he makes catches that make you say, wow, that's a terrific catch. So I like the way he goes out. He's a competitor, and he plays the game the way it should be played.
Yeah, some of the catches that deserves a wow from Chris Carter. We've got about 20 seconds left. You've seen the Broncos and Chiefs on a regular basis, played them well. How would you rate those two teams as making it to the Super Bowl?
I think Denver, the team confidence that they play with with is tremendous. You know, if you look at them, you know, each guy, you know, I don't know if they have more talent than anyone else, but they play with a confidence that's unbelievable. Kansas City at home is extremely tough with the crowd and the talent they have down there. So it'll be interesting, and you know, and it's sad to say I'll be at home watching, but you know, it'll be fun to watch.
Who do you pick to go to the Super Bowl? One of those two.
I would go with Denver.
Denver.
Yes.
Okay. Well, appreciate you coming by. It was nice meeting you. Good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully, next time the Pro Bowl team is announced, we'll be hearing your name on there. And good luck with the changes in Seattle. Appreciate you coming by. Joey Galloway, former Ohio State Buckeye, member of the Seattle Seahawks. We appreciate him. And Aeneas Williams for joining us and talking NFL. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll talk hoops with Eddie Jones of the Lakers. Take care.